Hello everyone, welcome back, and here we're going to be doing the assembly process of the Vault-Tec console. So we're going to do everything straight from scratch. So first thing we're going to be doing is to do the inserts for the screw for the mounting. So let's get that turned on. So for the four corners, the heat inserts that I use are a lot shorter than the one that I use for the center. Because we want to avoid the heat insert going through the bottom of the case itself. So we do the four corners first. Get those settled in. Let's put that aside. Okay, so that needs to be warmed up some more. So while that's heating up, we will place the insert for the middle. And for the amount of inserts, it takes around 10 inserts. 4 corners and 6 in the middle. So we'll be getting those inserts done. You can set those aside. And let's get these inserts all in. So you want to apply pressure, but not too much pressure so that it goes all the way through. And just keep an eye on the top. So once it goes and flatten with the standoff, then we can stop applying pressure. And getting these inserts to set and go all the way straight in without any twisting or going to the side. Each of these all have been bezeled, or chamfered I should say, so that the insert goes all the way smoothly in. So we are finished with this. And what we're going to do, we're going to set this to the side for now. The next thing we'll be working on, get this solder iron out of the way, is our front panel. We want to get that all set up. Alright, so here we have our button. So what we'll be doing, we'll be gluing this in. So we have our glue here. So once we apply the glue, we're gonna apply a clamp. Yeah, so this glue takes a while. So we're gonna glue for the eject button. We still need the eject button to go into the Zell menu. And we'll do around the edge. And that's the amount of glue we'll do for now. Then we'll make sure that there's no glue line going across. Then we'll line up that one section. And we'll press. And this is where we apply our clamp. And then for the eject button, we line this up just right. And then we can use the adhesive that's on the ribbon itself to come straight across and glue on the front panel. And we do it like that. So once this is doing this thing, we're going to set this aside and we're going to go back for our bottom panel. So we're going to be doing our motherboard here. So let's grab our motherboard itself. And we are going to have it placed here. So this is a Trinity board. And I want to make sure that everything is lined up the way it should with the knobs that's underneath the thing itself. So let's remove this a bit and let's make sure that that's lined up. I'm gonna put this back over. And we want to get the things we need for right here. So we have this section that goes onto this. So we want to make sure that we have our cable management that used to be here. So we're going to use a two-side tape to make sure that we have this plastic section the way it should. So let's see if we can go in on this board some more so you can see what's happening. Okay. So let's get our two-side tape. And we will put it on our cable management guard that we took off. Let's get that cut. So this is the plastic section that we're going to route our Wi-Fi cable through, and also our hard drive cable, and it would normally sit on the back. So let's remove this adhesive for our two-side tape and we'll get that reinstalled. They'll sit nicely. Right there. Now we're gonna run our Wi-Fi cable right between. We're gonna run it where the DVD drive cable used to be, because we don't want this cable be flapping around inside the console. Depends on your orientation whether you're gonna lay it flat down or put it on the side. We want to make sure that there's nothing loose. Okay. All right, doing our best not to pinch the cable. Get it in there, like so. So the next thing we're going to do is actually install the SSD cable and everything. Eventually, this console is going to be taken apart because there's certain things on this I want to actually change and clean up better. But this is just the process that I would actually go through to actually get this thing set up. Alright, so while I was here, I just took it apart again and I do some proper cleaning so it's all nice and shiny. And you can see it is a Trinity board and everything is nice and clean. So let's continue with the assembly process. So let's get this frame set on, and before we start screwing things together, let's get our SSD connector. Alright, so get our connector all set up. And let's get our fan cable. Alright, so over our fan cable. Alright, so let's get this screwed down. To do that, we use our M3 by 30. Get all those lined up, and we're gonna get these screwed in. Let's grab our screwdriver. Alright, so we get that screwed down. What we need to do next is our fan. So for our fan itself, it uses a Phillips screwdriver to get everything connected. Alright, so let's get everything orientated. And we're gonna be connecting our 120 millimeter fan. So get that all connected up, and let's not forget our drive. Just make sure this is lined up properly. Okay. Alright, so let's get our drive plugged in. Alright, so we have our fan. Alright, so for this fan cable, after we arrange our hard drive cable in the slots where it should go, so we want to make sure that it's fit in properly. I'm a very meticulous person. All right, perfect. Then we can insert it underneath this little clip, and we can do the same thing for the fan cables. We can actually have both cables fit underneath this small little clip. And that clip right there will actually hold both the SSD power and the fan power. So let's that. So what we need to do next, we're going to put our corners in. That's one corner. Okay. This one in. And so each corner, they're different, and I can determine by the size of that section at the side. Alright, so let's get the sides in. So to know how to actually put these sided, so one has a chamfer and one part doesn't. So the chamfer part actually goes down. So we'll get that inserted. Well, the back is self-explanatory. The ports goes down. And go around to this side. And by now this should be dry and everything, so you can remove our clamp. And we don't want to forget our sync button. So let's make sure that there's nothing in the hole itself. The sync button goes all the way right in. And let's get our ribbon connected. And we want to make sure that part of the ribbon goes all the way around. And we just line everything up. And we push down. Yeah, and that's our console there. And then finally, we get our top panel on. And it fit very tight on it. Well, yeah. And we have our console. So we just need to put our screws in. And as you know, these screws are M3 by 75. But let's make sure that our holes here, let's widen it a bit. And this happened with most 3D printed objects that have holes in it because of the tolerance. So I may set it to the correct tolerance before I print it, but because my printer has a 0.2, the holes tend to be smaller than what I set them to in the actual print, or when I was doing it in Infusion. And people who have printed my case, you probably have seen that also. So it's just the case itself. Instead of holes tend to shrink, but that's fine. You just widen it a bit. Then we get this all screwed in. And there you go. Vault-Tec case of your sync button to sync your controller, working perfectly. And this section right here, this is your eject button. So if you need to go to Zell, it's touch sensitive because I allowed that part of the case to be really thin, and you can see when I was gluing it. So if you touch this section, it will go into Zell. It works just like your normal eject button. And then I have your power button and everything. I have your sync button for your controller. That works perfectly. You have your front USB. You have the nice design. We have the vault itself, where the fan is. To put the vault right there. And you have your vault guy, Vault-Tec. On the front, still have your Vault-Tec, and you have your vault. And this actually looks really nice when you power on the console and the green light goes around. And you have your vent. And on the back, you have your power, optic audio. I don't know if anyone uses optic audio anymore. You have a HDMI. You have your connect, your Ethernet ports, and your USB. And you have a vent on the top up here. Yeah, and you have on the bottom, it's same honeycomb finish. Yes. And that is basically the Vault-Tec console all put together and ready for a winner. All right. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave your comments down below. And thanks you all for your support. And I will see you in the next one.